what really happened after the concert lights went out and the audience's cheers slowly disappeared. Many thought Jungkook would go straight back to his usual tour preparation routine. But it was precisely in that moment of silence that he did something completely unexpected and only revealed after Taehyung finally gave an explanation that left the ARMY speechless. According to the story, Jungkook did not immediately leave or rest after watching the concert. He instead chose to stay longer, sitting in silence, as if digesting every note and emotion he had just witnessed. Some of the staff even revealed that Jungkook seemed so lost in thought, his eyes couldn't leave the empty stage. There was clearly something he was feeling, but no one dared to ask. Clues start popping up when Jungkook is seen writing something on his phone that night. Not an upload, not a regular message. He refused to speak, chose to be alone, and the next day immediately changed his training schedule ahead of the tour. This small change immediately sparked speculation. Is he doubtful? Depressed? Or did he find something important about himself? This is where Taehyung's explanation makes the atmosphere change drastically. In a calm but emotional tone, Taehyung reveals that what Jungkook did that night was no accident. He said Jungkook was remembering the reason he originally stood on stage. That simple sentence struck a chord with many soldiers. Not about fatigue, not about pressure, but rather about too great a love for music and for fans. Taehyung explains that Jungkook's concert was like a mirror. Jungkook sees himself in the past, full of dreams, full of fear, yet also full of courage. That's why before the tour starts, she takes a break, to make sure every step she takes on stage comes from the heart, not obligation. This emotional shock brought many soldiers to their senses. Behind Jungkook's smile and energy that always looks strong, there is an inner process that he rarely shows. And when Taehyung shares the story, it's not the crying or screaming that comes up, but the silence. An understanding silence. Maybe this is why the BTS bond feels so real. Because before the big tour, before the spotlight of the world turns back on them, Jungkook chooses one most human thing, remembering why he started it all. And for ARMY, Taehyung's explanation wasn't just an answer, it was an emotional reminder that behind a great idol, there is a heart that is still learning and feeling. Silence speaks louder than words. After Taehyung's explanation was spread, many soldiers began to recall small moments that had felt trivial. Jungkook's longer gaze toward the audience, his breathing pauses before singing a high note, even a slight smile that he seemed to be trying to maintain. All of that now feels to have a different meaning, as if there is a story that has been neatly stored behind the stage lights. Some fans gave goosebumps when they realized that Jungkook's decision to pause before the tour was not a sign of doubt, but rather a form of maturity. He didn't run away from the stage, but got closer emotionally. He wanted to make sure that every step, every song, and every look later was completely honest. And that's what made a lot of ARMY suddenly silent, because they felt involved not just as spectators, but as part of the reason Jungkook kept going. Taehyung added that Jungkook didn't say much that night. But one sentence that was spoken in a quiet voice continued to ring. That this tour is not just a series of concerts, but a journey of feelings. Hearing that, Taehyung admitted that he was speechless, realizing how much burden and love Jungkook carried as an artist and human being. From then on, the atmosphere between the members was noticeably different. More calm, more understanding. Not because there is a big problem, but because there is a new consciousness growing. That behind the busy schedules and expectations of the world, they still have room to feel, remember, and strengthen each other. Perhaps this is why the little story after watching the concert so shook the hearts of the ARMY. Because the real surprise is not in what Jungkook did, but in the reason behind it. A gentle reminder that before the cheers reverberate on tour later, there's a heart that chooses to listen to itself first, and that makes every step forward feel so much more meaningful. And precisely because of this, the anticipation for the upcoming tour feels different. It's not just about the setlist, stage concept, or visual surprises that ARMY is always looking forward to, but the emotions that Jungkook will bring to the stage. Many are beginning to wonder whether the silent pause after the concert will be missed through the songs he sang later. Will there be a deeper gaze, a slightly quivering voice, or a moment of silence that feels longer than usual. Taehyung, in his speech, seemed to give instructions without actually opening it completely. He said that Jungkook did not turn into a different figure, but a new depth emerged, like a person returning from a long journey into himself. And it is these subtle changes that are often the most powerful, albeit barely noticeable. ARMY also began to realize that what they saw on the tour later might not just be an appearance, but an outpouring of feelings. There is a sense of longing, fear, and gratitude mixed into one. Jungkook doesn't just want to look perfect, he wants to be fully present. And for many fans, the realization was both suffocating and warming. The story of a night after the concert now continues to resonate, as if it were an emotional secret that is shared without the need to be explained clearly. No big confessions, no dramatic statements. Only Taehyung's cut of the story and Jungkook's silence speak for themselves. Perhaps that's what kept the ARMY silent the longest. Because they know, when this tour starts, that standing on stage is not just a world star, but someone who has chosen to be true to his feelings. And in that moment, every cheer later is not just a support, but a gentle answer to all the feelings that had been kept in silence.